Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Tuesday on which Liverpool take on Rangers at Anfield in the Champions League. The third game of this group stage, where Liverpool currently sits second behind Napoli, ahead of Ajax, with Rangers bottom of the group. Obviously, Liverpool got trounced by Napoli, but did beat Ajax. Rangers were trounced by Ajax and then by Napoli, and have not looked like a Champions League caliber team thus far in the group stage. But fear not, Rangers fans. Liverpool are here to raise the level of your team. To get to the group stage, Rangers had to come through the qualifying rounds. They beat Union Saint-Gilles of Belgium 3-2 on aggregate. Actually lost the first leg 2-0 and then beat Union 3-0 at home in the second leg. An immense comeback, something we would have been quite proud of. Then they took on PSV Eindhoven, a 2-2 draw at Ibrox, followed by an amazing 1-0 win away in Eindhoven, which was a huge surprise, put them through into this group. They have struggled away from home this season. They lost to Union, they lost to Ajax, they've also lost away to Celtic domestically and drawn away to Hibs. So you would imagine if that should be advantage Liverpool, as well as the significant talent gap between the two clubs, which should also be advantage Liverpool. But with the way Liverpool are playing right now, you just don't know. Rangers are second in their domestic league, 2 points behind Celtic. But Sam Maguire had an interesting piece on his Patreon today. I don't want to take anything from it. It's well worth the read if you subscribe. If you don't, you should. But just some interesting little statistical bits in there about how Rangers have performed this season. What we do know about Rangers is that they'll play 4-2-3-1. It's quite likely that Ben Davies could start at centre-back for them next to Connor Goldson. That is a championship-level central defensive pairing. That's a defensive pairing that we should be opening up time and time again. Tavernier, the right-back, is also a championship-level player. But what he is an outstanding goal scorer from right-back. Now, a big part of that is penalties. But if you take a look at the last 4 full seasons, from 18-19 through to the end of last season, from right back, 17 goals in 57, then 3 in 46, which was a big disappointment, then 19 in 46 and 18 in 58. Does score a lot of penalties, but gets a lot of open play goals as well. He is a threat. He's got 3 goals in 14 games thus far this season, but he's been used a little bit more conservatively by Gio van Bronckhorst than he was by Steven Gerrard. There will be some other former Reds involved. Ryan Kent is almost certain to be one of the wingers in this game, and he's a danger man for Rangers, but he's not having a particularly good season. And I have seen some Rangers fans suggest that he needs to be dropped, that it's a game that's not really suited to him. But I would expect that he will play. And if he does play, he is going to be a threat for Trent. Now, their goalkeeper is 40 years of age, Alan McGregor. And in his prime, he was just okay. Now he's well past that and needs to be exposed by us tonight. Like I mentioned, Golston at centre-back, championship level player. Ben Davies, championship level player. The left back will be almost certainly Borna Barisic. He's a decent player, but he's not somebody you're going to have to be too worried about. He does deliver a good cross, though. And their real danger man will be Anthony Cholak, the Croatian striker who joined in the summer. He's already got 11 goals in 14 games this season. So he could be an issue. The midfield will be hard-working. And in all likelihood, they might play two central midfielders and then another two central midfielders in the line of three behind the striker. They've played Scott Arfield on the right wing a couple of times this season just to get extra legs into the team. They've played Glenn Kamara in the 10 position just to have those legs in the team. And then Ryan Jack is generally one of the two central midfielders. I would guess the other ones could be Stephen Davis. James Sands is suspended, so I would guess Stephen Davis might start in there next to Jack. And that will leave them relying a lot on Kent, on Cholak, and on the two fullbacks getting forward to provide them with any kind of real goal threat. Now, there's other players in the squad that can do a little bit of damage. Malik Thielman, the young American who's in on loan from Bayern Munich, he's a good player, worth keeping an eye on. Young Charlie McCann, who came through their academy, he's a decent player. They've got Khmer Rouge, who I suppose most people will remember him from when he was at Leeds, but he knocked around the lower leagues of English football for a number of years and is a solid player in attack, can play all across the line. They've got Robbie Matundo, who came through the City Academy, went to Schalke for fairly big money. It didn't really work out for him, and he's had a couple of failed loans, but he's landed at Rangers this year, and he seems to be comfortable and settled in. And then Alfredo Morales, who 2 to 3 years ago looked like a player who could step up and be somebody that we might have an interest in, but it's all sort of petered off from. They've reined in his temper, and unfortunately it's had a fairly negative impact on his overall play. Now, he still scores a lot of goals. Last season, he got 18 goals in 42 games. The season before that, he got 17 in 44. And the season before that, 29 in 47, which was kind of the last of the really good years. The second and third years, he was immense for them. But he got a lot of red cards. And since he's sort of tapered off with the red cards, he's also tapered off with the goals. But a player who can change a game if he's given an opportunity. Look, the bottom line is we should win this game. And if we don't, it's an enormous failure. It really is an enormous failure. I've seen an article from Dominic King today suggesting that Liverpool could move to a 4-2-3-1. That's fine if the two is Fabinho and Thiago. It's not fine if it's anybody else. This is Anfield, have 10 key things to know ahead of Liverpool versus Rangers. John Lundstram is the other option to start in midfield, I should mention. And it might be him that starts alongside Jack, now that I think of it, with Davis brought on off the bench later on, sort of a Milner role for him, comes on, kicks people, slows the game down, that type of thing. John Lundstram, obviously former Everton academy player and senior player, and never really got a chance with the Ev and moved on to Sheffield United, where he did very well. But he's going to be up for this game as well. So one to keep an eye on there. 10 things to know ahead of this game tonight, put together by Joanna Durkin. Historic meeting. This is the first ever competitive meeting between the two sides, despite a shared history of 130 years. The last time we played them at all was a friendly in 2011 when Kenny was in charge. Fabio Aurelio scored an own goal. Familiar faces: Ryan Kent, Ben Davies. Any players returning for the Reds? I'd be very interested to see if Ibu gets a run tonight. I think this is probably the game to start him. I think it could be a game to start Arthur as well. That would be my three, would be Thiago, Fabinho and him, if it's going to be 4-3-3. The matchday squad, or the squad that's available as far as training goes: Alisson, Kelleher, Adrian, Van Dijk, Matip, Konate, Gomez, Phillips, Alexander-Arnold, Tsimikas and Ramsey, Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Arthur, Elliott and Basetic, and then Salah, Diaz, Firmino, Jota, Nunez and Carvalho. So there's still a few players out, obviously. Naby and Ox and Curtis and Andy Robertson is still seemingly a couple of weeks away from making a return, but getting back to full fitness at least. A handful of changes for Klopp. There's a predicted 11 here of Alisson, Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Elliott, Thiago, Salah, Nunez, Diaz. I would start that team with two changes. I would start Konate for Matip, and I would start Arthur instead of Elliott and switch the eight so Thiago's on the right side. Kent and Davies to both start. Possible Rangers 11: McGregor, Tavernier, Golson, Davies, Barisic, Lundstrom. This has got them down as a 4-3-3. I would find it difficult to see them playing a 4-3-3. Lundstrom, Davies and Jack, Thielemann, Cholik and Kent. I just don't see Davies playing. I think Arfield will likely start ahead of him. How the group is shaping up, I mentioned earlier that we are second. Did you know it's one of those seasons so far? Liverpool have looked to shelve them for their former selves. We've been trying to figure out what exactly is the root cause, but it appears to be a culmination of factors, and the Reds love making life hard for themselves. And when you read that Liverpool have now only led at half-time in 3 of their last 20 games in all competitions, that really isn't ideal, is it? Defending is an art, says Jurgen. Yeah, it's an art that everybody has to buy in on. Maybe have a word with one or two of your senior players. We've seen this referee before, Clement Turpin. Oh God, he's the guy that refereed the Champions League final. Didn't think much of him. Genuinely didn't think much of him. And there will be a live blog on This Is Anfield tonight with Henry Jackson in charge of that. Give Henrold an old follow. Jurgen Klopp has no option with Arthur Melo as Champions League must lead to Liverpool's swap. Predicted team is Darwin and Arthur in and Mohamed Salah out. I think Salah will start. Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool must avoid bold Trent Alexander-Arnold swap, and Jurgen Klopp already knows why. Liverpool will have to overcome 2 US men's national team talents against Rangers, including Bayern Munich ace, Malik Tielemans and James Sands, except that James Sands is suspended. So not so much with the having to overcome. Jurgen Klopp has a fundamental Liverpool problem to solve before Manchester City exploit it. Who else can't wait to play Man City? Liverpool should seal 8.7 million bargain transfer as scout who found Luis Diaz sent on MLS mission. Mentioned this yesterday. This is John Duran, the young Colombian playing for Chicago Fire. Apparently very, very talented. Liverpool line up huge money January transfer as FSG may finally take 42 million Pep Guardiola hint. What is this? Bassett trains with senior squad. Liverpool still interested in Nunez. Fellow was there to be bought in the summer and would have solved most of the issues. FSG to make funds available. Well, they made funds available in the summer, but Jurgen decided not to spend them. So we'll wait and see if it makes much difference. This coming transfer window, there is a new scouted. It's looking at Rangers. Is there a rate don't hate guy? Did it get done, or did you decide that it just wasn't worth the self-harm?
My mental health needed that break from talking about that game, I think.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. And having been forced to do the post-match Raw due to Downey's violence against his television, I think it's only fair that you took that one away. So yeah, you can listen to that and you scouted, and obviously there is that Raw. If you fancy a bit of self-pity, you could listen to Raw after Brighton. You could listen to Nina's show after Brighton. There will be a live Raw tonight done on Discord. Hopefully Brother Downey will be back with us. I think it's myself, Trev, and Harry, I want to say. It could be myself, Trev, and Jim, but I think it's myself, Trev, and Harry. And we will be with you from about 15 minutes after kickoff to discuss what will hopefully have been a comprehensive Liverpool win, but I would take a shitty 1-0 win. I really would. I am going to make it clear that I can't abide Rangers. Like, I can't it's Jim tonight, so it's myself, Harry, and Jim. I can't stand them as a football club. So I may be less than complimentary to them after the game, regardless of the scoreline. But that's just how it is. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.